So I have to like lie about how amazing everything's been and how we had like
the whole
catering.
point is that you actually tell the truth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bad news for you.
My name is Joe Lander and I am the Chief Executive Producer and Founder of BlueSub Media.
I'm Terry Lander and I'm an Executive Producer at BlueSub Media.
Thank you.
Apparently.
My name is Harry Kirk and I'm an Associate Producer of BlueSub Media.
Back in March of 2019 there was kind of a movement going on where people were trying to encourage other people to subscribe to a certain YouTuber, and so my friends and I decided on a non-uniform day that we would attend secondary school in donning t-shirts and merchandise, trying to get people to subscribe to this certain YouTuber. And I bought a white t-shirt and I made it, sort of drew a blue submarine on it and it put sub 2 and then the YouTuber's name.
I've known Joe since the last part of secondary school in Helston, since year 10. We've been good mates since and still are, and I was with him when his filming began. The first filming I can remember Joe doing was getting people to react to each exam paper during our GCSE exams. He loved it and so did everyone else. The time was very stressful for everyone and Joe himself, and he found something to do during his spare time.
Why don't I start a media company? And they kind of laughed at me a little bit. We started a Gmail account for it, just a YouTube account, and then we also started Instagram the same evening. But nothing really happened with it after that. It was more of a pipe dream, and that was that really. It was kind of the end of it. Psych. Not really, obviously.
It's a bit of an odd one. I've kind of always been involved because I'm Joe's dad, and when he first said he wanted to go to college, we thought, oh, what? You can do that in college? Because when I was younger, which wasn't that long ago, but it was long enough that you had to get a trade or you had to do something academic like A-levels.
My friend then wanted to do an online series called The Lads, where he played all of the characters, and I offered to produce the show and to do the trailer, etc. So we ended up doing that, and then it was a bit empty for starters. This was all kind of part of what I like to call stage 1 of BlueSub Media. It was very empty. Months would go by, we wouldn't do anything, because I didn't really care too much. Like I said, it was more of just a pipe dream.
The only trouble with this was Joe's resources were very limited as he only had his phone, which didn't have very good camera quality. However, he didn't let this stop him, and he loved making the series, which even appeared in our end of year assembly. After exams were over and school was out, Joe realised that he couldn't do these exam reaction videos anymore.
Mattress.
Mattress? Mate, you need
The mattress is
check.
soft. Did you do like 1200 times like the standard form thing to work out how many spring cuts?
I know the quality of it is just incredible, but then after the first week, everyone seemed to just love it. So I said, oh, what if I just carry on with the full 4 weeks? And that's what I did. I ended up making 4 parts of a documentary that looked into
Yes.
Can you put the lid down at least?
Business
Can you put the lid down?
When I started at Truro, the first day they literally gave us the cameras, told us where the power button was and a couple other things, and then we were told to go out and make like a short film.
Cameron, homeboy G-Fam, what's good?
What the did you just say?
That first day was...
Oh Jesus!
The camera was on a set. I didn't know what the wheel on the top of the camera did at the time. And it was on like a vignette setting. So all of the sides of the screen were cloudy. And I also didn't know that the camera itself records audio, like it has a microphone in it. So I ended up, and I didn't know that we had to bring headphones to college, so I never actually plugged in headphones or heard the sound of the video. So I assumed it just didn't have sound. I was wrong.
So yeah, he's kind of living my dream. So I'm what is it, vicariously living through my children, but it's the opposite way round. He's living my dream and I can only grumble.
And then I think came Inside NCS. Inside NCS was the next kind of major thing, major stepping stone.
For those of you, good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Lander. I'm from Southwest 2. Yes, civilization does still exist in the Southwest. Just.
Hello, Dan from BlueSub Media. I'm the executive producer and editor for the channel. Bossman asked me to do a questionnaire for him. It's not too bad working with Joe. If you're working with him, you know it's going to do well. That's why I felt comfortable with the 60-second contest, doing it with him, because I know he's going to get the shots, they're going to look nice, the lines are going to be said correctly, and all of that, and then it's just up to me to edit it. He does ask a lot of people, sometimes. I think a lot more than he realises. He asked me to do the second interview on my day off. I mean...
It was when I started to pay attention to the camera, to what was being shown on the camera, and started to think about my reputation and my image.
I was kind of thrown into theatre, if you like, with the Greek Panto group, but to be able to act on film, I never thought I wanted to do it until I started doing it, and then I thought, oh yeah, nice, I like this.
Everyone was nice about it when I was on set, and that was the first time that I really felt like a director, and that I was really sort of making progress.
He's a bit too ambitious with some of the things he does.
I think sometimes my biggest flaw in life is that I seem to grab every opportunity that comes at me, and I never really think things through. For example, I was invited up to London for one day to give a speech up at the NCS headquarters after finishing Inside NCS. And I had to go all the way up to London, a 6-hour journey, and back in one day. So I did 12 hours on the train just to give a 2-minute speech with a 2-hour conference. That was a crazy day, really.
We walk out of the station and everything's like 5 stories high. I said, that's a skyscraper down where I am. You don't see 5-story high buildings because old people will moan. But anyway, they said about bringing a Tesco's in and we were all like, no. And yet you're worried about knife crime and we're worried about Tesco's. Anyway.
After that, we did the live show, the Christmas live show.
When did you first get involved in BlueSub Media? Well, it would be around the Christmas show we did. I knew about Joe and his like media company for like September when we first came to college. Yeah, so properly got involved in the Christmas show. Pretty much everyone did. It's a big class project. Pretty good though.
And this was a fun one for me because it was a college project, but we were all assigned a role to play within it.
Live show for Christmas. We all had to choose our roles for it. I was visual. I don't even remember, but I changed what was showing on the live screen. Joe took producer role, I think, and yeah, so we went from there. We had everyone in the class was working on it. Joe kind of took it over as our BlueSub Media Production, I guess.
We were told we have a deadline of this many weeks and we've got to go live at a certain time. We'll have an audience watching, and we were told it's got to be Christmas themed, and then apart from that we just go nuts.
It says they want to put a sheet over my head. There's no way I'm doing that.
You messed up this whole f***ing show! I told you! Put this f***ing sheet on!
I'm not putting on a sheet, Joe. You know I'm starting bad Santa.
You know there's an audience in there!
Calm down, Martha. I saw you with Craig last night.
Right,
Let's not talk about this now. You know what?
Martha, I'm sorry.
I'm out of
Martha,
here.
please.
You get the show! Put it over! Get off! Cut!
We did a lot of prep. I was in charge of filming extra shorts for it. We filmed MTV Cribs with Santa Claus. That was a fun one. That was, I think, the best shot, and it was great. We did the Grinch interview, which was a bit weird. And I think we didn't do any more. We filmed a couple others, but they didn't make it in. So yeah, they were quite fun. We didn't have to do any paperwork for them, so they were really good, and we had complete creative control over those.
I then got to experience life professionally, and we count that as a BlueSub Media Production because it was widely accepted to be a BlueSub Media Production, really. A lot of people kind of just said that because that was the last time, really, that I stopped, that I kind of associated just myself with BlueSub Media. BlueSub Media at the Christmas show stepped into being a collective of people.
During the Christmas show itself, we had like many practices, like maybe 4 or 5, 6 maybe even. Different times when we practiced live show, we just went for it. Made sure it was all good, made sure everyone knew their timing, made sure the actors were comfortable. And then we had one final rehearsal before, and everything, 5 things were going wrong. We had to change our day out. It was a disaster, but it all worked out in the end, you know. It worked out well. I don't know how many of you saw it, probably not many, because I don't think it's up on the channel. Might be able to get Joe to do that. But yeah, the channel, Christmas show went well. In the end, everyone did their job. We had a lot of people like off for work, so we were down on people. But I think ours was like the second best out of all the Christmas shows. One of them had like an hour long, and theirs was obviously better. It was like 20 minutes longer than ours, but I don't think it was that bad. Yeah.
See you after the break. Can I get a fag in here, please?
During the Christmas break, I turned around to my friend Will and Cameron and said, I want to do a podcast. And they said, oh, okay, yeah, maybe. And I said, look, we could do it on a Tuesday every week. It doesn't have to be much. It's just something that we could do with our free time type thing. We don't have to think too much. We could have like a questions section, talk about the news every week. We could make it quite comical, quite funny. And I said, look, and we'll put it out on the channel. And then by the time we ended up getting back to college, a few people kind of said, oh no, I don't have the time for that. And then I eventually said, look, we'll do it on Tuesday morning. I've got some stuff here around the house I can bring. We'll set up a couple cameras with a couple mics on them, and we'll just see how it goes. And True State of Mind was born.
Hi, this is May Gallagher.
co-host of True State of Mind.
Well, my current role, which has changed recently, is, I believe it's called the Company Engagement Manager, which is a term that you could use to describe. Basically, I'm in charge of social media aspects. I help out with emails, but also I began as just a helper for the day. Then I ended up joining in more and more, and I was mainly camera person, and I would guest on every 5 episodes, and I pretty much made my voice heard every episode of True State of Mind because I'm loud sometimes.
I joined True State of Mind around in late January, but I was behind the scenes for the Lego episode where my boyfriend was the guest star, but I officially joined in February, very early February time, in the episode with me and Larry, because Joe was late, from what I remember.
I did media for GCSE, and one of the best days I had at college was producing a film about the school. It was only like a 3-minute film. I got to choose the music. The others weren't particularly interested, so I thought, oh, brilliant, we can do what I want to do. But in between shots, it was me mucking about with my mates. And what Joe's done with True State of Mind is kind of the opposite. So True State of Mind is him having a great laugh with his mates in college. And he doesn't understand why I'm not the first in the queue every week to go and see it.
I first became involved, I guess I've known about it for a while, but properly involved, I would say I first came involved in episode 4, I believe. It was the episode where Finn guest starred. Will, the old co-host time, was not there, was absent. I don't know whether he had left, I think he had left at that point. And I came in earlier just for the fun, and I ended up becoming more and more involved. And now it is a significant part of my week.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know, just a bunch of friends working on a YouTube channel, I guess. Nothing too special. Maybe one day we'll get up in the big leagues, make some movies. That'd be great. That's the dream, right? You know.
My most memorable moment is probably when I first began with the Lego episode, just because it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun just getting to sit behind the camera and, you know, talk with everyone like normal, you know, whilst judging Joe and Finn on their Lego skills. But I also really remember the next episode where I was first on screen with Larry, where it was just really getting to know him and the camera better. I really enjoyed that moment.
I wouldn't say I took his role because technically May was the main host of that thing, but I sat in his chair, so.
Okay, so let's talk about Dan. Dan's been on the show since the beginning, very first episode. I worked with Dan before on a couple of things, but it was during the first series of True State of Mind that I really got to know him very well, and I kind of started to respect him a lot and his opinion on things. And it was at that point that I asked him at one point to edit an episode of True State of Mind, and I started to kind of give him more and more responsibility. And it got to the point where I was starting to kind of give people roles within the company and starting to kind of say, oh, do you want to work, kind of not work for us, but kind of put your work under the umbrella of BlueSub Media? And people were saying, oh yeah, sure. And I turned around to Dan and I said, I'd like you to be my right-hand man. I'd like you to be an executive producer with me. And he said, yeah, I'd like that.
Working with Joe, not to be rude, but Joe's a perfectionist, right? He wants everything perfect. And he takes things a bit too seriously sometimes. Oh, it's not a bad thing. He has a good work ethic. Unlike most of us, we just want to mess around. You know, we don't take the course that seriously. We kind of took it because it seemed fun. But yeah, Joe wants to get things conditioned. If I know Joe, he won't give up on it. He'll keep going. He'll probably, I don't know, Hollywood one day. Yeah, school year's almost over, so, well, college, first year's almost over. And then we've got one more year working together. I hope we'll work together after college, but seems unlikely. We'll probably still stay in contact, and I'll probably maybe do some editing for Joe. Yeah.
So the loaded music video came next, and that was in January, I want to say. So while the beginning of True State of Mind was going on, we were starting to do the music video.
The loaded music video. That was, I was really looking forward to that, because that was kind of Joe saying to me, oh, I've got this one thing and I want you to do a small part. But when we got there, the room wasn't kind of perfect, which was good because it looked like an old classroom. It was an old classroom. But Joe's vision for the music video and my vision were completely different, and we had to compromise on a few things. And I wanted the school to look better than it did, if you like. So there was one good painted wall and there was 3 not necessarily so good walls. So yeah, being able to be a part of it and say, oh, why don't we do it this way? That was really good. That was something a bit different. It's something I never thought I'd get to do as well. Because normally if you turn up on a film set, if you're being paid, the director's being paid, the producer's being paid, and they've spent months planning the shoot. So as an actor, if you go on set and say, oh, we should change this, we should change this, you get a death stare, and you either do it the way you were going to do it anyway, or you get sacked.
He will watch. In fact, he watched Inside NCS about 3 times before it ended up being put out. So he was involved in that one as well. I respect my dad's opinion a lot, and I think that's why I show him all of my work before it ends up being submitted, because I respect his creative decisions. I think he's probably sick to death of seeing my stuff, but it's always nice to show him anyway, you know? And after the music video, we then started planning for our short films, our FMPs, final major projects. I wanted to make a 20 to 30 minute short film called Murder Anonymous, based on a book that I'd written in Year 7. And we wrote the script. Writing the script took about a month. Once I was happy with the script, I took it to my dad, he was fine with it. Took it to my tutor, she was fine with it. So I started to get to work. Started planning things, locations, talking to locations. I then came up with a production schedule once I had all the locations booked, and hired extra cast, spoke to people about sponsorships, even bought most of the costumes and the props, prepared locations literally. We even filmed a scene of the film.
Good. I'll have a word with the judge. Sit, have your medical rep with the check. I'll be seeing you real soon, okay? Take care of yourself.
Literally a week before I was supposed to start filming, we were told that we had had to go home, and we couldn't come back to college until September, and that's because of the virus that was going around. And yeah, we were told to pack up, and we don't know if we will ever be able to make that film. I'm hoping I can make it again in September to premiere in December, because that's the other thing, we had the premiere booked as well. I was that set on the film. I had the premiere booked, the tickets printed, and while I was at home, there suddenly was kind of this intake of filmmakers and film lecturers from around Cornwall that were saying, while you're in isolation, why don't you make a short film? And there were a lot of competitions saying, and my dad was sending them to me, and I was saying, yeah, maybe. And I have all this equipment here because I brought it home thinking I was shooting the short film over Easter, and my dad said, no, come on, let's make this film. And I said, okay, sure. I didn't know what to make the film from, and then I think we were sat on the sofa watching the Foo Fighters, and Dad turns around and goes, why don't we make a short film about a guitarist who thinks he's really good but is actually really bad? And I said, you know what, that's actually a great idea.
Ricky Schnaps was an odd one because I've always wanted to be a musician. I've kind of always been creatively minded, but always pushed down the academic route. Hence, I do what I do now. But with Ricky Schnaps, I always wanted to be a musician. I probably glamorized the touring a bit more. I thought maybe it was, you work for an hour a week and it's the best hour of your life, you're on stage. I never considered like the traveling and the hard work that musicians put in. So I wanted to play a failed musician who thought he was really good, because there are more musicians who think they're really good than there are really good musicians, and that kind of made it a bit relatable. But yeah, it was a muckabout, basically. It was me mucking about with Joe.
Ricky Schnaps, man.
Right, okay. He said that on the Thursday, and he said, let's just improvise it. So on the Saturday, we shot the film. It was great fun to play around with things that were around the house. And we finished it, submitted it to the competition, and then Dad said, why don't we do another one? I said, okay, what have you got in mind? And he said,
everybody's got time off, so it doesn't matter if you're the busiest person in the world, every now and then you've got to take 20 minutes for yourself, and you've got to imagine that a supervillain, how much time a day do they spend robbing banks? Because they kind of have to stay under the radar quite a lot. So that got me thinking Joker must take a day off once in a while. That kind of evolved into the Joker being available when no one else was available. So he calls Batman, he calls his Gotham pals, and then eventually he thinks, I need to take a day off. The original concept for that was probably a bit more mundane, and that was the idea behind it, was that it was just going to be this really celebrated supervillain, if you like. He's one of the most popular villains in probably the UK, probably the world. But it was going to be him doing his accounts and doing some filing and taking his post to the post office. And then I thought, let's G it up a little bit.
given a nice bouquet of flowers, but the only vase you've got is a bit too big for them to stand up properly in. Here's a great trick to help you out.
And we kind of gone into this rhythm, we found ourselves getting into this rhythm of making a film, so writing a film and then making it on the Saturday and editing it on the Sunday, coming out on the Sunday, and I kind of started to enjoy that. And Joker's day off, we had a boom operator, someone doing the clapper, a camera operator, an actor, etc. And we used people within our house, and I then started to think, well, this is something that we could do. I enjoy this. So the competition I submitted Ricky Snaps to, I contacted them and said, can I submit Joker for it? And they said, of course, you've still got time.
It went to a Southwest Film Festival, and it was in a category of, there was 11 isolation films, and ours was one of those. We submitted Ricky Snaps as well, but at that point they were the 2 videos that we'd done in isolation. So we kind of went, oh, have both of them. But looking back, we really knew that Joker was the best of those 2. So it was a big surprise when we won. It was kind of less a surprise that Joker had beaten Ricky Snaps.
After we did Joker, I turned around to Dad and said, oh well, we seem to be doing kind of this repetition of I write a film, he writes a film, etc. So I said, why doesn't he write a film and then I'll write a film after? And he said, okay, fine. So he wrote Van. It's
how to explain Van?
I feel an icy hand around my ankle, frigid to the touch as it penetrates my cold skin. Perhaps my thermostat is broken.
I just basically wrote a load of lines, kind of almost free writing, just thoughts that came into my head, and then created a punchline for each. And as I was writing it, I thought, well, this would actually look really good if we made it a bit artsy, because a lot of college films are people in kind of generally mundane situations, or they've got a crush, or they want to get into a relationship. So I wanted to do something completely different. A black and white art house French film where the lead doesn't even speak French, I thought would be something just completely out of the box, a bit random, and it would look different compared to anything else we did. And it was a chance to try out some different camera angles, do a few things we hadn't done before. And I'm so naive to the technology that I didn't even realise you can just zoom in post. I thought you had to kind of either zoom on the camera or literally walk the camera towards whatever you're zooming into. So yeah, it was just really an experimental piece that, whether people like it or not, doesn't really matter, because I look back on it and laugh at how stupid it is.
I'm Verity Lander and I'm an actress for BlueSub Media.
What's that?
Small and ginger, right?
The Kidnapper was my baby, really. Because I wrote it, it's based roughly the crime drama thing was what I wanted to do for my short film, so it was nice to do something similar to what I wanted to do then.
With the Kidnapper, I liked Elsa showing the emotion and at the end the impact it had of the sudden like, oh my god, this child is like dead.
Kidnapper was great because I got the opportunity to kind of have a bit of an editing competition with Dan, and it was unique because we had this, the way that they would run it in a kind of a Hollywood blockbuster, we would film loads of stuff, we'd film the whole scene through in loads of different angles, and then we'd take snippets from the bits. So when I'd send all the footage to Dan, he'd end up using different bits of the footage for the same scene.
I found that I did have to redo a lot of the scenes because either Dad and I forgot our lines, or we laughed, or there was a noise. So we had to remake a lot of those scenes.
And it was quite nice, really, to see the difference between our two editing styles.
Why? Just ask them if they saw Gerald, and then they could tell you who took him.
I did. I knocked on every door on the witness list, but nobody saw the boy.
No one?
Not a soul.
Did you find him?
Hang on.
The week after was Dad's pick, and he wrote and directed Celebrity Chefs. I won't say the whole title, it's very long.
Celebrity Chefs was probably my baby out of all of them. Again, it was a case of wanting to parody something that's really popular. So Saturday morning breakfast, I used to watch that when I was hungover. And I thought, wouldn't it be brilliant if the chefs weren't that good? If they kind of slipped over, there was oil going everywhere. And I thought, what stunts can we do at home that weren't too dangerous, because during a global pandemic, nobody wants you turning up at hospital with oil burns down you, having to treat you because you've been daft in isolation. And I felt that kind of slips, trips, falls, that was easy to do. Setting myself on fire was a little bit harder. We weren't sure exactly how quickly that apron would burn, so that was an experiment that we only really had one good take for that as well, or one chance at a good take. And yeah, it was just a case of mucking about really and doing something really popular, but with someone who's not necessarily that good at cooking.
It was quite hard to set up stunts at first, so the hardest of all was the cans dropping when we opened the fridge. There were loads of takes where it wouldn't fall, no matter how hard we tried. What we ended up doing was having my sister stood on the edge, on the other side of the fridge, and she had a broom, and we had cans on top of the fridge, and she ended up pushing the cans off onto my dad with the broom, making sure the broom stayed out shot. So that's what we ended up doing in the end.
So the first thing we need to do, get some ingredients from the fridge.
Can you hear that? Sounds like BlueSub Media's radio proper job.
So we are in the noughties. This is Through the Decades here on Radio Proper Job. You've just heard a double dose of Beyonce. That was Crazy in Love, and before that it was Single Ladies. We're going to go a little bit harder, a little bit heavier.
My name is Michael Proper Job Williams, and I am BlueSub's head of radio broadcasting, part of the Radio Proper Job team. We've started doing this recently, and I believe it's going pretty well. My most enjoyable experience with BlueSub is getting all the jingles going live on Radio Proper Job and getting the shows going. The shows have come on leaps and bounds in the few weeks we've been going, and the quality is getting better and better, which I've got to thank Joe and the BlueSub team for.
Well, that is it from us this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have been listening to Radio Proper Job Through the Decades Part 2, and that is it from me. Do tune in to the quiz tonight over on Proper Job Disco's Facebook page, but thank you so much for tuning in.
Where do I see BlueSub going? I see them going from strength to strength as time goes on. I honestly see them just getting bigger and bigger, more short movies, more radio broadcasts, and just more and more, and I see Joe making this a real big enterprise.
If you haven't done so yet, if you're looking for something to do, nip onto YouTube. I'm sure we're all looking at YouTube anyway, but go onto YouTube and look and type in BlueSub Media. Joe and his family, normally with the help of his dad Terry, a very good friend of mine, Terry Tinkerbell, I call him, they make films, short films, and they've just released a new one. It's just dropped, as the kids say. I can't believe I said that. My son will listen to this and go, oh no. It's just dropped onto YouTube. It's called Maisie. All made within the social distancing guidelines, and all made within the house. Starring, I believe it is Joe's younger sister Sophie, and possibly Verity as well. So
Hi, I'm Sophie Lander, and I do a bit of makeup. Well, I'm the head of makeup apparently, and I've been in like 2 of Joe's videos. Probably laughing. I probably laughed quite a lot. I'm not I'm not very good in serious situations, so I think I needed a few takes. It's probably different from panto because mainly you don't have to learn all of your lines in one go, and if you mess up it's okay because you can just roll again, and like you have like just certain little snippets that you're filming at a time, whereas with a panto it's obviously live and it's all at the same time, so but this is definitely probably a lot easier than panto.
May and Larry are big fans of horror films, and I've been notoriously known for not liking them, so I decided to make my own horror film. To research for it I had to watch horror films, which wasn't the most enjoyable experience, but it was still fun. I'll add that in. It was still enjoyable.
Where do you think you're going, kid?
I think Maisie was the first time that I did a night shoot. Every production I'd done before was during the day and took place during the day, and we were shooting during the day. Night shoots are definitely really different. It knocked most of my energy out of me to stay up at night and to shoot things. I won't be doing one for a little while, but I might do one again.
But if you have any questions, come and see me at the end. I'm very keen to talk to people because I will go on a train for 6 hours in a second, so social interaction is very nice. Thank you very much.
Am I proud of how far we've come? Of course I am. I think anybody would. And it's an incredible experience to be able to sit back and kind of think and look at how far we've come and how far we've grown, really. It's something that I never thought I'd get to do and to see, and I just cannot wait to see what we do within the next year and the year after that and the year after that, and just how far we can take this work and how far all of us can stay together, really.
So the future of BlueSub really is down to Joe because it's his baby. I'm happy to help wherever I can. I've really enjoyed acting, I've got to say. So it'd be nice if in 12 months or so he's doing a longer film and needs somebody to be a part of that. I'd be there in a heartbeat.
I think Joe's gonna carry this on quite far. He really enjoys it, and I can notice that because he constantly talks about it. But I definitely see it going far, and see them getting better and better and things like that.
I think I'll go places. It's a good experience, a good channel. You know what else is good? It's my Twitter, so just follow.
Looking back, BlueSub Media has changed dramatically, overcoming many obstacles and has grown lots and will continue to grow in the future.
I feel like I'm being watched for some reason. It's every Saturday that we would film, and I would kind of be like, I didn't have enough time to learn my lines or something, because like I got the lines yesterday, or I don't have the right costume.
And I hope that I myself will continue to be a part of it for as long as I can, honestly, because I do see a future in this. Not like a future, but like I do see it as being a part of my life, and whether, I don't know if this is okay to say, but whether this continues or not, I know that there may be different paths and stuff that may separate it, but speaking honestly, I can't really say that not part of me hopes that I will be a part of this for a while.
The future of BlueSub Media, I don't really know. I'm very much optimistic, but at the moment I think I'm taking it year by year. We've got a lot coming up. Like I said, hopefully we get to do that short film in September. I've got a documentary that I'm making in January to March, and then another short film after that. And I'm just taking things as they come. It would benefit me to take a step back and potentially look at a second weekly show, but we'll see what happens. For now, I guess that's all that's left to say is happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media, all the way from Leeds.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
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 Happy birthday, BlueSub.
Happy birthday, BlueSub. Mwah.
Happy birthday, BlueSub. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday, BlueSub.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday, BlueSub Media. Happy birthday, BlueSub Media.
Hey, it's Ricky Schnaps saying thanks for making me a star, BlueSub Media.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, BlueSub Media. Happy birthday to you.
Sorry about that, that's but happy birthday, BlueSub Media.